The Fantasy Footballer Studio is sponsored by Walmart. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in. What?
It's football time!
Woo! Yes! Finally. Oh, man. Welcome into the show. Yes! Yes! Thursday, September 4th.
I wasn't sure we were going to make it.
It's football time.
This was one of the longest off seasons.
Yeah.
It just felt like forever.
It's here, Jason. Yesterday you wanted it to be today, and now it's today.
Now it is today. I just had to be patient,
The
which
passage
is
of time.
not
spinning of
necessarily
the earth.
my specialty. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm also thrilled that we're getting the game we are getting tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many fantasy football relevant pieces tonight. Can't wait.
Very much rooting for the Cowboys.
Oh, for the
This is just
very much.
for the miracle?
I mean, it's just. I told Jason this morning. It's just a play. You know, it's one pick six in the game. It's an 8.5 line, right?
If they get one
Yeah.
pick six, they will lose by
2.5.
10.
Yeah.
This is
I don't-
perfect. This is exactly
Yeah.
what we need. We need
This-
Mike doubling, tripling down. Like,
Yeah.
Bijan's invincible. That's Jason.
Well, that's a
Mike.
fact.
Philly can't lose tonight.
Yeah.
I
We're
will
set up.
I will definitely be rooting for the Cowboys, and I mean I don't care who wins, but just I want them to.
Is that because you have the Dak CD stack?
Well, yes, that's a big part of it. Big part of it, but
you're not rooting for the Cowboys.
it's
He's
more.
a Jerry Jones guy.
I am rooting for the Cowboys simply because I want the Eagles to have to keep doing stuff. I want the Cowboys. I want good action, and I feel like there's two ways this game goes. The Cowboys show up, and it's a fun game, or the Cowboys don't show up, and we just watch like an NFL team beating down a college team. You know
Well,
what
I mean, yeah, no, they got beat by 30 plus points last year. You know, it was not competitive between these two teams, but we have football tonight, and we're excited.
Very exciting.
We broke down the Thursday night game on yesterday's show. We have news to talk about today. We have our first starts of the week segment of the year. And then we're going to jump right into the matchups for week number 1 of the NFL and fantasy football season and get through as many matchups as we can today. And we'll come back with more matchups tomorrow because we're getting into the swing of things here at the Fantasy Footballers. It is week 1, and it's time to set those lineups and get things ready to rumble. So make sure you use all of the resources. If you've been a UDK user, and that's been the draft kit from February all the way through today, the kickoff part of the year. Now is the in-season app. It's time to shine there. The Ultimate Dashboard is part of the in-season app. All of the weekly rankings, start-sit tool, waiver wire pickups, spot start tool, and then as we gather data through the first handful of weeks, you're going to start to see the Stream Finder tool and the strength of schedule
Oh,
tools.
it gains its power.
Yes, it is charging up.
Yes.
So lots going on there. You can learn all about it at fantasyfootballers.com and check that stuff out there. Jointhefoot.com is the community, and we're going to get right into it. It's time for news.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Progressive Insurance.
All right, we're into the news. The 49ers signed.
Oh, he took him to the cleaners, guys.
You know, this was the
Juwan, you got him.
This was pretty funny.
You got him.
Juwan Jennings, the big potential holdout. You know, he got them to add $3 million in playtime incentives.
Honestly, I mean, it feels like when we're talking NFL contracts, this seems like pennies. But I mean, for Juwan Jennings, just playtime and you get up to an additional $3 million. That
sounds
feels
very
good.
childish when you call it playtime incentives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, was he going to the McDonald's play place?
He's going to do blocks. Then he's going to do trains.
We're going to pay you for playtime.
Well, I mean, it's funny because it's like, to me, he lost everything that he wanted. I mean, this is like a token addition to me. Like, he didn't get any guaranteed extra money. All the stuff he said he wanted, it's just like, okay, if we end up playing you a bunch, all right, we'll give you some incentives. I don't know. It's nice to have it figured out.
I,
and it's
for
over
one,
with.
would take an extra $3 million incentive.
Yeah.
Denied.
Oh!
We've got Christian Kirk. Hamstring injury, didn't participate in Wednesday's practice. There's actually been a couple of injuries that popped up this week, including Keon Coleman with a groin injury that we need to monitor as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to check groinindex.com, Jason.
I'm on it. Let me look.
Is he
I
on
don't
there?
even need to check it.
Well,
Is his groin on there?
It is.
What did he say when he got hurt?
He said, my groin. And then the only other one right now is Kate Otten, who is, my groin.
Okay, those are direct quotes. But no, it kind of sucks because I think Keon Coleman is a player that I was looking to get, maybe
Sure.
he can get involved early on, but he might not even play in week one. Same with Christian Kirk. And so Jaden Higgins suddenly becomes pretty interesting right out of the gate in Houston. We started last year in Houston, Nico, Dell, Diggs, all of them, Diggs was really relevant early on. Nico was on fire early on. There's room for a lot more than just Nico in this offense. So maybe Jaden Higgins needs to be more closely paid attention to.
For sure, there's room. I mean, Tank Dell was awesome while Nico Collins was awesome at times. Same with Diggs. There will be a necessary second target in this offense. Has to be.
Marvin Mims practicing in full. He was recovering from the groin injury. Jaden Reed didn't practice.
Dude, the vibes are bad.
And Dontavian Wicks was limited.
But this is what I expect.
Dobbs.
Don't start talking about Romeo Dobbs. But this is what I expect from Reed. He will never. I don't think he'll practice on a single Wednesday.
I think you're 100% right.
And it's going to be torture.
Najee Harris expected to play on Friday against the Chiefs, but tough to predict how much he'll play according to Jim Harbaugh. We talked about it briefly yesterday. I don't think anybody can expect Najee Harris to play a bunch of snaps.
No.
But supposedly going to play.
Yeah, I mean,
travel.
he's been jogging and doing mostly stuff to the side for the majority of offseason. I can't imagine that they just go, okay, it's 50-50.
Right. No, we'll see what happens. Kansas City, Los Angeles from Brazil. We'll preview that game today. Any other breaking news that I need to know about, Al? You got anything back there?
Not right now, but we'll keep an eye out.
All right, that was News and Notes sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
It's time.
Yes.
Starts of the week, presented by Paramount Plus.
Oh, boy. It starts of the week time. We'll kick off week one with each of our favorite picks.
I mean, it starts of the week, and we just were talking about whether there's any new news. I'm seeing a...
Do you need me to hit a button?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but Omarion Hampton will get the start over Najee Harris, according to Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
Oh,
Was
boots
this
on the
needed
ground.
to be said?
It's nice when it's said. It needed is fantasy players would love anything like that. That's fine. That makes me feel better, yes.
Did you see speaking of fantasy players, the McDaniel quote about Ollie Gordon?
I did.
Did you watch the press
No,
conference?
but I
Okay,
can
so
imagine.
when you watch it, it's like
Oh, yeah.
he's just like, this is a fantasy football question, right? Nice try. He's like, he just hems and haws.
He'll have 0 plays or all the plays, 0 yards or all the yards, or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And I did. I don't know the context, but I just saw a tweet with a quote from the Lions OC being asked about the split between Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
And?
We'll see.
Well, oh, good. Yes, we will. But the nice thing is we'll see this weekend.
Yeah. So starts of the week, we're kicking it off. These are our confidence.
Don't want to tip your hand too much.
These are our confidence plays, players that we think have great matchups and opportunities in week one. It's time to get it off to a good start. I mean, week one is sort of the weirdest week to do this because if you drafted players, you're playing the players you drafted. You're not getting too I have seen some start-sit questions that make a lot of sense when, Jerry Jeudy or R.J. Harvey.
Sure.
I saw that yesterday someone was asking me that one.
Yeah.
That's close to me. That's a really close question.
I think when you drafted some of those guys, like Caleb Johnson is another perfect example, where you drafted him might be a starting spot, but you probably want to give that some time. You might have drafted, even someone like a Keenan Allen, or someone that really late that just look. There's a rationale for why they get off to a hot start.
All right, let's start at the quarterback position. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow. At Cleveland, putting to bed the way he has.
You're dancing with the flames.
Yeah, he's
right
never.
now.
This is like he's been the least valuable player to play in the first couple of weeks.
On week one.
So this is the first full season where Joe Burrow is not recovering from an injury.
That's true.
They have a 26.5 point implied total. It's the second highest of the week, and you're going to have big plays. Cleveland's defense last year allowed the highest percentage of 15-plus yard plays. So Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins and company, they get it done. And you're going to be happy with Joe Burrow in week one for once.
Well, he has been a quarterback one in week one once before in his career.
Wow.
Yeah. And
one time. Quarterback one, not the quarterback
No, just
one.
a top 12. No, like last year he was the quarterback 29 and the year prior the quarterback 31.
All right. We're going to change that.
I agree. It probably will happen. I'm going to go with Bo Nix. This is one of my higher, statistically, like when I finished the UDK, I was like, wow, I think he's going to score a lot more fantasy points than where he was in drafts at the time. This week one, they are at home against Tennessee, 7.5 point favorites with a 25.5 point team implied total. Nix averaged 21 fantasy points per game, 250 and 2.5 passing touchdowns at home last year. Denver should take care of business. And Nix has a strong week one output.
All right, Bo Nix against Tennessee.
And I'm going with Jordan Love, a lower drafted quarterback in draft season. He's taking on the Lions. This is a matchup I want a part of. The Packers are. They're 2.5 point home favorites. They have a 25 point team implied total. The wide receivers, I get it on paper, seems a little bit scary, but I think that they figure it out. A bit harder to run against the Detroit Lions, and I think we get back to Jordan Love being the captain of the Packers.
All right, my running back, I'm going to the same game Jason just mentioned. Bo Nix against Tennessee was his quarterback. I'm going J.K. Dobbins against Tennessee.
I like it. I
am looking at veterans to play early in the season. It's not necessarily a sexy start, but it is going to be a productive one. J.K. Dobbins, literally last year, out of nowhere, started the year as the RB4 in the first 2 weeks of the season. They have not equivocated. J.K. Dobbins is the number one right now. They rested him a ton in the preseason. R.J. Harvey feels like the flashier, sexier play, but I believe that Sean Payton, of all people, he really trusts veterans. He's said nothing but the right stuff about J.K. Dobbins. And so I think the early down work here in week one, Tennessee, they're heavy favorites. I'm a big fan of J.K. Dobbins.
It took Kamara a while to get going as well. And then, even when Kamara was going, it's like you have Mark Ingram, you have Alvin Kamara. There's room in Sean Payton's offense for two running backs.
Yeah, it's a great matchup, and he's got two legs right now. That's a really important thing.
JK
Are they both strong?
No, they're both strong right now.
Are they?
Yeah. Look at last year, how he started. One of those legs might atrophy as the season goes on, but I think he's okay. Speaking of people who might atrophy as the season goes along.
How dare you?
Well, but right now, Mike, Ken Bone Walker.
The plan.
Look, this is pretty simple. If he's going to be on the field, and he is, he's not on the injury report right now, then he's great.
It was amazing because we've gotten to the point with Ken Walker where the actual news is like, they're like, Ken Walker practiced today.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's the news. Ken Walker, that was the news I saw recently. Like, he practiced, and that's good.
That is very good.
It's part of the plan.
This is a team, Mike's brought it up, but like they want to run the ball way more than they did last year. They've talked all offseason about the turnover game. They've got all the tight ends and the fullbacks.
Fullbacks, baby.
Yeah, this is a system where they're going to give Kenneth Walker the ball. And the 49ers, as a matchup, it's not the defense you remember from years past. They lost a lot of weapons on well, on both sides of the ball, but even last year, they were 29th versus fantasy running backs. They allowed the most rushing touchdowns to running backs in the entire NFL. So Kenneth Walker is going to get off to a strong, smoking hot start this week, and then trade him.
Okay,
before
Mike.
he breaks.
Mike,
He's
it's
gonna
your
be
turn.
fine. I'm going with James Conner against the Saints. And look, for the first 6 weeks, the Cardinals have the best strength of schedule for the running back position, starting with week 1. The Saints last year, just a wet, hot fart, 30th in rushing yards per game allowed, 26th in fantasy points allowed. And, if just taking out week 17 where Conner got hurt, last year he was averaging 19 opportunities per game. The Cardinals are heavy favorites. I think they're a full touchdown favorite despite being on the road, and I think that Conner is going to wear them out in the second half.
All right, my wide receiver start of the week is JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba against San Francisco. Is he going to play a bunch of inside,
two Seattle
outside?
guys.
I don't care where he plays. It don't matter. He is the clear number one for Sam Darnold. At home last year, where he is this week, he averaged 8 targets, 72 yards per game. That's a great baseline. And against the 49ers, 20 targets in 2 games against them last year. I think JSN gets off to a great start and makes people truly believe he's a number one in fantasy.
Speaking of someone who I think gets off to a strong start, making you believe they are a number one in fantasy, it's my guy,
Heyo.
Teteroa McMillan. You drafted him to be great and not on your bench. If you look at top 10 drafted wide receivers over the last 6 years, they average 7+ targets per game as a rookie. Jalen Coker is out. They shipped off Adam Thielen. And you got a Jaguars defense that's a perfect week 1 matchup. They were atrociously bad last year, 30th in fantasy points to wide receivers, 31st in expected points added per pass attempt. So it's like everything is lining up for T-Mac to come out and week 1 show you, oh, he's that dude. I've got him as my wide receiver 15 this week. Like there's almost no world where I'm not starting him.
The matchups, you got the Panthers, Jags, and then we have the Falcons, Tampa Bay. I think those are sneaky games that could give us
high upside.
Yeah, give us some fantasy bonanza this weekend. And that's why I have Drake London as my start of the week. The game, we're looking at a 47.5 point over-under. That's currently the third highest right now. It's in the Dome. We saw the numbers with Michael Penix, a 40% target share, and Tampa Bay. They played the highest rate of zone coverage last year, and London last year, 33% of teams' first read targets versus zone. So he was the go-to guy. I like both of those matchups. I want just as many players as I can get, and I think Drake London. People obviously we drafted him very high, but this is like a situation where Drake London would not surprise me if he's the number one wide receiver on the week.
All right, wrapping up our starts of the week with the tight end position. This is another game I think will have pretty good production for fantasy, actually. It's got a 47.5 point over-under. It's Tyler Warren against the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, man.
In week 1, the rookie, my guy, and, the top target in Indianapolis is going to be Tyler Warren this year. That's going to be the player that you want.
Miami's defense stinks.
Yeah, and especially even last year, we'll see what happens, as they change into the new season. But 8th most receptions given up to tight end position last year. It was something you actively targeted. Colts have an implied point total of almost 25, so you like that. I think they get off to a good start. I think both teams score a lot in this game, to be honest with you.
What is your Tyler Warren stat line week 1?
That's a great question. I'm going to go 6 for 72 and a touchdown.
Oh, that is definitely
That would be spicy.
That would be a.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I'm not really.
Yeah. It's not a prediction.
No.
Okay.
It's a report.
Right. Okay, for my tight end start of the week, you might have been upset. You might have been the last person to draft a tight end, and you're like, oh, shoot, I've got to take Mark Andrews.
Which I had to do in our 14-team listener league. I had a big problem with the tight end situation.
I had one where I kept punting, and I ended up with Andrews, and it's like, yeah, you might feel like you were stuck, but you're gonna have a great week 1 starting tight end. Isaiah Likely, unlikely to play, and you've got a 50.5 point over-under. I believe it's the highest of the week. The Bills play a ton of too high safety, 55% of the time last year on their dropbacks.
55!
And Mark Andrews had a 15% target share versus that look, which was higher than Sam Laporta. 0.46 fantasy points per route run, higher than Brock Bowers. This is a perfect week 1 matchup to cure the ills from the beginning of last year for Mark Andrews.
All right, that was Starts of the Week presented by Paramount Plus. Watch the Lions versus the Packers game this Sunday. Get started at ParamountPlus.com/NFL.
Before we move to the next segment, my start of the week at
Oh
the
my
tight
gosh!
end position is David Njoku versus.
Why didn't you cut me off?
Oh, we were just having a good look.
It's week 1, man.
Oh, I got it.
a little rusty.
What? I don't know if you knew this. Much like Red Zone, we actually interrupt.
Yeah,
We interrupt the
right in the middle of the content
with some commercial breaks.
So David Njoku versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Son of a gun.
The matchup is fantastic. Fun stat here from the Borgogan. Last year, the Cincinnati Bengals allowed the most tight end receptions of any team over the last 8 years. And look, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but you know what? We're going narrative street. When Joe Flacco was announced as the starter, and you have a video of David Njoku in some sort of ATV, I don't know what exactly the vehicle was, but he's riding
July 30th.
with Joe Flacco, and he films himself celebrating.
He's very happy.
Just be like, Joe Flacco! And then if Flacco is smiling, those two dudes are bros, and I think they're going to bro down and this weekend against the Bengals.
All right. Guess what? We'll take a break, and then it'll be time to get into the matchups. All right. Without further ado, let's get into week 1.
Fantasy Forecast, presented by Prize Picks.
All right. We'll kick it off with a Friday night game from Brazil. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Bonjour.
They take on the Los Angeles Chargers, who get I guess they get the privilege of being the home team on the road in Brazil. So they lose a true home game. But the Vegas line here.
Did they?
Yeah.
The Chargers.
Well,
I mean, I get what you're saying because they don't have the strongest.
They might have more fans in Brazil.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, it'll be exciting.
LA people are like not mad that I said
No,
that. They're just like, yeah,
no.
whatever.
Chargers fans from San Diego
We have
are
two
also
teams.
not
Who
mad.
cares?
Vegas line, Kansas City -3. The over-under is 46.5. So last year we had Packers-Eagles open up in Brazil. The field was a major problem. Hopefully that won't be the case this year so we can get some good football. Last year, both of the games Kansas City and Los Angeles played, KC won them, but they were close, 17-10, 19-17. The Chargers have actually covered the spread in 3 of their last 4 meetings against the Chiefs.
Okay.
But we'll get to see the newly rebuilt backfield for the Los Angeles Chargers. We just talked about it. Hampton getting the start. Najee Harris should make an appearance. He is number 1 in total games played since coming into the league at running back. That's his availability being an ability. That has been his greatest ability as a pro. He doesn't miss time, and so he accumulates, and he can take a lot of punishment, and he'll be back out there. So let's start with the running backs, actually. Let's start with Hampton, Najee, and then what we see on the other side. I've noticed in almost every draft, Kareem Hunt, he goes super late, sometimes not drafted. No interest in Kareem Hunt, but it will be Pacheco and Hunt in the backfield. What do you expect to see from Pacheco, and are you kind of watching him the most this week, as in, is this the same guy that we had a couple years ago?
Yeah, for sure. So going into last year, I loved Pacheco. He was my guy. He was all alone in the backfield. Week 1, week 2 looked amazing. Then he broke his leg, and that's when they went out and signed Kareem Hunt. So Kareem Hunt was not on this roster to start last season. And the reports out of camp have really been positive about Pacheco. They have been saying he's back to his former self because he never, when he got back last season, he did not look great. He didn't have the same explosiveness, wasn't the same player. Kareem Hunt was probably the better player on the field. He just kind of did the right thing every time, knew the system. They used him around the goal line. They used him in the passing game. But he's a year older, and it wasn't like Kareem Hunt was special, just Pacheco wasn't last year. And so it was a 1-2 punch. So I'm really curious, does it become Isaiah Pacheco's team again? and Kareem Hunt is just a pure backup? Or is this what we saw on the field last year where it's a 1-2 split? As of this moment, I'm fine starting Pacheco as like an RB2. You probably have to where you drafted him. I would never start Kareem Hunt, but I'm going to keep my eyes on that one big.
Goal line will be something to watch.
It will.
With Kareem Hunt. And I think the team, barring Pacheco looking, hugely better on every snap than Kareem Hunt, I do think Kareem Hunt will have a role in the offense, but not one where, like, I'm flexing him at all this week. And he's obviously, like, if Pacheco did go down, Kareem Hunt is going to be valuable the rest of the year. Hampton, we're comfortable starting Hampton, obviously, but the matchup's not great. We talked about this yesterday. It's a tough matchup. We'll see what it looks like in Brazil in week 1, but how many touches would you expect Hampton to get? More than 15?
I think that's a good baseline.
Yeah, no, I definitely think more than 15. You're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense is good. It's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to go out and get up 2-3 touchdowns and make you have to throw the ball a lot. So Hampton will be, I think, north of 15 touches.
All right, the wide receivers, Xavier Worthy probably, in my opinion, didn't get enough attention in drafts this past couple weekends. Rashee Rice is going to be out 6 weeks. Hollywood Brown, he's going to be out there. Now,
Hollywood Brown is the guy at the wide receiver position I'm most interested to see of the.
Does he have it? Does he have it?
Does he have it? The last year, hurt pretty much the whole year. Comes in for just a few snaps towards the end of the year, but on almost every single one of those snaps, he was seeing a target. So he's just kind of one of those interesting, nasty boys that if you're in a real deep league and you looking for someone to throw on your bench who could like explode in value, Hollywood Brown fits that bill for me.
All right, Jason, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, all three are somewhat in play. Quentin Johnson would just be a dart throw. I would really only start him if you had, Justin Herbert and you're looking for like a stack touchdown. But in week 1, you probably don't need to. I believe Keenan Allen is going to be very involved in this offense, especially early in the season. Ladd McConkey was a breakout sensation last year. You look at in Brazil last year, that was the Jaden Reed game, right? Where
everything was broken.
Everything was broken
because of the turf.
And Reed was so good as that kind of light, twitchy guy, and people couldn't really get him.
Defenders couldn't cut. So
exactly. So I'm looking at Ladd McConkey and Xavier Worthy here and just questioning if the field was in a bad condition, is that kind of like a little extra superpower for those two guys?
I mean, Ladd McConkey's in play every single week.
You're going to start probably either one of them, but I could see a slightly more special game for those two players if the field is in the same condition it was last year.
A lot of week 1 matchups are what are we watching for, as opposed to giving a bunch of analysis on what to expect, because McConkey and Allen, what's it going to look like? We haven't seen them play together before. Kansas City gave up the highest percentage of targets to the slot. Is there a lot of Keenan in the slot?
I think Ladd will still have the slot more than Keenan, but that is exactly what we're going to watch for.
I think you're right, but we'll find out. Tampa Bay heading to Atlanta. Mike talked about this game. Vegas line, Tampa -1.5. This is in Atlanta. The over-under is 46.5. The line opened up at Tampa 2.5-point favorites. Now it's 1.5. Atlanta won both of these games last year, surprisingly enough, when Tampa had the better season. The week 5 game was the Kirk Cousins 500 yards, very fun game.
Yeah, it was fun.
And then Atlanta won 31-26 in week 8. So we get to see some new stuff here. Michael Penix Jr. taking over, starting quarterback. Got all of training camp. Drake London, your start of the week, Mike. Bijan Robinson, the number 1 or 2
indestructible.
The 1 or 2 or 3 pick in a lot of drafts. Darnell Mooney, is he back out there? Kyle Pitts. It's been all positive about Kyle Pitts all offseason.
Off-seasons usually are.
Well, let me give you some stats for Mr. Kyle Pitts against Tampa last year. 7 for 88, 4 for 91 and 2.
No, that didn't happen.
Those are real stat lines.
No, they're not.
Yep. Sorry, Mike.
Kyle Pitts would never do that.
Kyle Pitts went, and Tampa was really bad against the tight end position. I think Kyle Pitts is a great start this week.
Like I said, this matchup is fascinating. Of the defenses last year for fantasy purposes were just so bad. So I guess so good for us to play against in fantasy. You had the Bucks were 31st against quarterbacks. The Falcons were 27th against wide receivers. The Bucks were 27th. The Falcons were 29th. So I I want pieces. Darnell Mooney is it feels risky. He was limited on Wednesday with the shoulder.
You've got to have a better option with where you drafted Mooney.
I agree, but I just like he's a player that I have my eye on in this matchup. He going deep against the Bucs secondary. I think you should expect a couple shots, and if he's playing, I bet he comes down with one of them.
One player you may have a start-sit decision with, Emeka Egbuka.
Start him.
Yep.
Well, let's go to the website here. Start-sit questions that were popular. People have them. Egbuka or Pickens?
Oh, gosh.
Because Pickens plays tonight. I mean, I would rather play Egbuka myself.
I think I'd play Egbuka.
I would as well. I think that the game script in this one could be a fun game, and the Cowboys could be kind of shut down. But it's another one of those, like, if you want to have a guy in opening night, I don't blame you.
Jason has never had been more overwhelmed with opening night players. Because he's been so obsessed with this game.
You're thirsty.
Like 90% of your analysis this week has been getting somebody in this game.
Just get him in this game. Just
Ricky Pearsall.
Watch football tonight and have fun.
Ricky Pearsall or Egbuka? This is another popular start-sit question.
Man.
Mike, which one would you play?
I would play Egbuka.
Cortland Sutton against Tennessee or Egbuka against
Sutton.
Atlanta? Okay. So at the running back position, start Bijan, start Bucky, the end, right? Start Mike Evans, start Drake London, and we broke down the tight ends already. At quarterback, Baker, we'll get to see if he can continue the 40-plus touchdown pace he had last year.
Yeah, I mean, I will be keeping an eye on Rachaad White, Sean Tucker situation. You're not starting them necessarily, but we can't forget Rachaad White was an RB2 last year.
Caught a lot of passes.
And so if he is involved, this is a pretty banged up, I feel like right now at the beginning of the year, Tristan Wirfs, Cade Otton might play, don't know. Obviously Chris Godwin won't. McMillan won't. So I'm curious where the ball goes for the Buccaneers.
The Cincinnati Bengals take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Cincy, 5.5-point road favorites, over under a beautiful 48.5.
Okay.
I will say this. Like, I think Burrow, no matter what, will be great in this game. I think Chase, Higgins, you start the stars of Cincinnati. But I don't know.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
That's why I was surprised about the Joe Burrow start of the week.
I think it's going. I mean, look at the over/under. It's 48.5.
Bengals going to bungle.
Look, we have you got those survivor pools. We've got our picks thing that we do here in the office. This game terrifies me.
Yes.
And it's not anything to do with Burrow. I think Burrow will be great. I think this will be a high-scoring game. I just don't know if at home with Joe Flacco, the Bengals defense can stop them. I think there's a chance that Joe Flacco can do whatever he wants against Cincinnati's defense. You got to remember, this was a defense that was almost dead last against quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. Njoku has something to say about that, right?
Yes.
And Jerry Jeudy ended the year from weeks 11 through 18 averaging 101 receiving yards a game and 17 fantasy points. If you asked me the R.J. Harvey Jeudy question yesterday, which someone did, I answered Jeudy because of this matchup. I don't know if this game was 34-31 or something. You know what I mean? Something crazy like that. I would not be shocked if it was a full-on offensive explosion.
Completely agree. The Browns have a really good defense, but obviously the Bengals are one of those offenses that should be able to overcome that. And if they do, it should be a back-and-forth affair. I love that this game is in Cleveland, and I want a lot of pieces in there. When it comes to the receiving options for Joe Flacco, Njoku is a must-start. I think Jerry Jeudy is basically a must-start. I think he's going to get a ton of targets against this Bengals.
Tillman should be fine.
And Tillman, I am absolutely fine starting this week. I look at where I've got him in my rankings. I've got him over a Bateman, a Hollywood Brown, over personally a Josh Downs and Jaden Reed with kind of the them coming off being a little bit.
Josh Downs.
I mean, I'm still
I don't blame you. I think that's all right.
I'm still on the Pittman as the number one target, but I know I'm in the minority there. But I do think Cedric Tillman is startable this week.
Yeah, Jason's got Pittman in 3 leagues.
I do. Doesn't feel great, but he was a late pick.
Do we even have that anymore?
Let me see. Archives. Archives.
Look at the cemetery. Yeah. Come on.
Do it for the drop. All right, Jamar Chase Higgins, of course. Chase Brown, let's see him back out on the field. He was the RB5 in fantasy from week 9 on last year. It's not a complicated start-sit situation in this game. It's just going to be a fun game, I think.
Yep, I agree. And then there are situations, there are leagues out there where Jerome Ford, again, I talked about
Would you play Ford or Sampson?
I think I lean Ford right now.
Okay.
But again, I would love to get some clarity. If you don't get any clarity, then I would just
Dobbins more than those two guys?
Oh man.
This week? I'm thinking of all the ambiguous situations. You like Warren more than those guys, I assume. Jalen Warren.
Yeah, I think
Eckler
so.
more than those geese?
Yes,
guys?
Eckler for sure.
Those geese? I don't know what that means. Okay, so Ford you like a little more than Sampson.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're going to see what happens. Still no word on Judkins, right?
No word on Judkins. I saw several reports saying that a deal was basically imminent. They were all from people that have
him on their fantasy team.
No, but they were just all from people that did not really have a following, and I didn't view any of them as a trusted source whatsoever. So I'm just kind of ignoring it. But it was in the back of my mind.
What I loved about the quote was he could sign a contract as soon as next week. Like I think the understanding is he could sign at any day because they drafted him. So yeah, he could be signed right now when you're listening to this. He might sign in 4 weeks. Who knows?
Yeah, there's not a lot of like accountability or worry with a report like that.
Yeah.
I need to do some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find like 10 or 12 phrases that are like, if it goes right, it looks good for me, and if it goes wrong, it doesn't matter.
Like Joe Burrow could throw as many or more as 5 passes this week.
Or I need to get one of those Pelissero deals and make some cash.
Oh, man.
Just have the agents slide you a little,
Yeah. Like
little found money.
Our Twitter accounts are available for reporting for low-end players.
Not yours, Mike. Not yours. You're a man of principle.
Journalistic integrity.
Yeah. Until I see this money.
Miami taking on the Indianapolis Colts. We talked about this game earlier. Vegas line Indy -1.5. So it's a close one. Over-under's 47.5. Right out of the gate before I get into the breakdown, I'm just curious who you think will win the game.
The Colts.
I did pick the Colts, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be the Colts. Both of these coaches are on the proverbial hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, McDaniel is they're running out of patience there. And if the Colts don't get it going after what happened with Richardson, Shane Steichen could be in the same boat. In fact, the first NFL coach fired odds, I have them.
Okay.
Mike McDaniel's number 1.
It just seems
Brian Dable number 2. Shane Steichen 3. Canales 4. Stefanski 5.
I know it's football. It's a hardcore business, and we talk about guys getting fired, and in fact, celebrate some guys getting fired. But this just seems mean,
right?
Yeah, like you could bet money on who's going to lose their job.
Is that a form of hedge for the coach themselves?
Oh, what if they put half their salary on them getting fired?
I mean, the way McDaniel,
I guess they get paid no matter what, right? They don't have no incentives, no time played or play time incentive.
Yeah. I mean, the fired coach money, that's good money.
I do, yeah, really. I do love this game for fantasy purposes.
I do as well.
You look at the Colts defense last year, atrocious against almost every position. And while the Dolphins defense was pretty good last year, and they are getting some pieces back on the D-line, their secondary just got decimated this offseason. They don't have one. They got rid of Jalen Ramsey, so I think that you're going to have a back-and-forth affair here where if whoever's going to win this game is going to score a lot of points. And so you look at, if you do like Josh Downs, if you're not worried at all about the health or Pittman, Tyler Warren start of the week, Tyreek, Waddle, there's a lot of pieces here that I think you can play.
My biggest reason for loving Warren with the announcement of Jones being quarterback is the fact that over the last couple of years, nobody targets the short area of the field more than Daniel Jones. It's just he doesn't throw it deep. He doesn't have a great deep ball. 51% of his pass attempts within 9 yards. That's the highest rate of any quarterback over the last 2 years. I think that's where Tyler Warren's going to really, really excel. And I honestly think there are going to be times this year that Jonathan Taylor owners are very upset because I think Tyler Warren is going to get tush-push opportunities multiple times this year instead of Jonathan Taylor getting the ball on the goal line because he's that good at taking the ball from behind center. Maybe he'll throw the ball once.
Yeah, hopefully it's made up for. Oh, I hope not. He's a lefty. I hate watching lefties throw.
Well, let's talk about Tua then. Weird, man.
Yeah.
Weird. Tua is 4-0 in week ones. So he's never lost a week one.
The Dolphins usually do get off to a hotter start and then kind of fold later in the season. This version of the Dolphins, Tua being healthy is good. I think they've got better offensive pieces.
You just said you hate lefties throwing? You just don't like
he's
the way
I
it
don't
looks?
like
that.
the way it looks, and when I was a receiver, I hated catching the backward spin.
He's an armist.
Yeah, and I'm left-handed, so it's
What
like
about
you know.
Michael Vick too?
I just didn't like the. Yeah,
Oh, man.
I would say
That's
run it.
Mike Vick threw the prettiest pass in
yeah,
the
he
history
did.
of the National Football League.
Once it's out of his hand. Yeah, if you're just looking at the ball and
Oh
the
my
camera,
gosh.
beautiful ball. I mean, it's spinning the wrong way, but
Jason watches all of the Dolphins games in a mirror
So weird.
just to assuage his troubles. All right, Tua's not been a stat consideration or a fantasy consideration by anybody at all.
On this week's Dynasty Pod, we were breaking down, do you need to
Yeah, what
tier-
hand do you write with, Jason?
left.
Okay.
We were breaking down, do you need to tier up your quarterback? And you talking about QB2s, and it's like I brought up Tua because he is just the public opinion on Tua is so soured when we're not that far removed from Tua was the hotness, and last year
Didn't I trade him to you last year, or was it 2 years ago?
that was 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, he was the quarterback 9.
He was the hotness. I mean, he has the concussion worries and concerns, but it's like when he played, week 1 last year, Tua was fine, and then he gets hurt and comes back, and he had like a month stretch where he was just dominating for fantasy purposes. So, this is not a play Tua, even though the matchup is an area where I think you'd end up being okay, but it's just keep an eye on the Dolphins. They are a team they're a must-watch team for week 1 of what do they look like? Do they do the same garbage they were doing last year where it's just everything is a check down to HN and whoever the tight end is, which Darren Waller, the Walrus, still apparently ramping up because he didn't practice on Wednesday. But it's not impossible that this team tears everything up from last year and they go back and they're just chucking it downfield.
Well, HN's in your lineup. Jonathan Taylor's in your lineup. Tyreek and Waddle, I imagine you're playing them. Tyreek dropped in a lot of our drafts. I think people are just afraid of the range of outcomes for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But, again, if he's not a captain anymore, he says he's got to prove himself again. And we'll see if he's interested in doing that or fading away into, retirement.
Yep.
And then Tyler Warren, start of the week. Downs and Pittman, you said you liked the game. I'm a much bigger fan of Downs, so I'm very comfortable flexing Downs in this one. But I'm probably a little bit hesitant where you drafted these guys compared to other players. Like, are you starting Downs or Debo? I'd probably go Debo. Downs or Golden. I'd probably take the shot on Golden.
Yeah, I want that week 1.
A Dunze. I'd probably go with a
I'd play
Dunze.
Downs over a Dunze.
Yeah, I think I lean on that side as well.
Interesting.
And just for leagues that need it, Ollie Gordon, if he wasn't drafted, he is a priority stash for week 1 to just see what happens.
He could be playing every play or
sure.
none of the plays.
Yeah, no, but if
Yeah.
Ollie Gordon is undrafted in any of your leagues before kickoff, absolutely he should be rostered. And I also think Devon Achane's going to get 10 targets this game.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice that he's back, and hopefully he can stay healthy as he was banged up. So we'll take a break and jump into some more matchups. Foot Clan, draft day is on the way. You got your rankings, you got those sleepers, you got your can't-miss picks, but you know what? You need sometimes a backup because, well, even the best fantasy football team in the world doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes those starters, they don't show up. Wouldn't it be great if you could have the same peace of mind everywhere else? With Progressive, you get more than just a policy. You get a playbook full of coverage options you can count on for your home and for your auto. Want to customize your protection? No problem. You can build your coverage just like your fantasy team, making sure that you have the right players in every position and a backup when you need it most. And when life throws an audible like a fumble in the driveway or a hailstorm at home, Progressive is there with 24/7 support. Don't get caught without a great backup. Visit Progressive.com to quote today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Moving on, Las Vegas, the Raiders going to New England to take on the Patriots. Vegas line has New England 3-point home favorites. We didn't say that a lot last year.
No.
Patriots and favorites.
We're going to say it quite a bit this year.
Over-under is just 43.5.
Nice.
So that's not a lot. By the way, Pete Carroll, 2 weeks from now, turns 74 years old, will become the oldest head coach in the history of the National Football League.
It's wild.
It just doesn't seem that way. Okay, Josh McDaniels back in New England, former head coach of the Raiders. Both of these offenses, one of the things that was troubling and a problem for fantasy last year was not having production at wide receiver. Once Devontae Adams departed, it was always hard to predict. Jacoby Myers was the most reliable receiver for the Raiders last year. You can't really name a wide receiver in New England that was reliable. You were supposed to see Stephon Diggs out there. I just got a start-sit question around Stephon Diggs for week 1, and my biggest worry about Diggs in week 1 is just if he gets a full allotment of snaps, because they've kind of equivocated on his availability.
He said he hopes he's not.
Yeah, he's coming back. Would you play Diggs or Keenan? Would you play Diggs or Jerome Ford?
I like Keenan. I like Ford there. I like Downs as well. Simply
more than Diggs.
More than Diggs. Diggs is great. He is someone that I would love to have pieces of, and maybe he is 100% of the
whole
snaps.
Thing?
Nice. But the issue here, there was a big question the whole offseason. Will he be ready week 1?
Right.
And it seemed like he should be. And if he is full go, full allotment of snaps, I think week 2 and on, we're going to be playing him every single week. But you're right, Andy. There's questions to whether or not he will be limited game plan wise, and I don't want to take that shot week 1.
All right, well, Drake May, are you comfortable playing Drake May in this game? It's interesting because with Diggs being kind of questionable, and then it's Demario Douglas, it's Matt Collins, it's Kyle Williams, it's Hunter Henry, it's Travion Henderson.
There we go.
It seems like Drake May could be good, but we might not know.
Yeah, no, I think
the weapons.
If Diggs plays half of the snaps, that's still an upgrade for, the times he's on the field for Drake May. Travion Henderson's going to be great.
So you expect Henderson to hit the ground running in week 1?
I think Henderson's going to be great whenever he receives a pass. And so that will go to Drake May. If Henderson ends up with 4 receptions for, 55 yards.
55! You're the one who made up the number.
Yeah. That's why. All that goes to Drake May, and Drake May runs the ball a lot. This isn't a super scary defense. You've got Max Crosby, but it's, the last year, if you look at it, the Raiders were ranked 22nd against quarterbacks, so it's not too scary, and they're favored.
Drake May or Dak tonight?
It's opening night, baby.
Okay. But who scores more
you
points?
You asked the wrong person.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Dak.
But who scores more points?
Drake May or Trevor Lawrence against Carolina?
I like that Trevor Lawrence game, so I'm going to go T-Law.
Okay.
Well, we'll get to see Vrabel first game as the Patriots head coach. It could be a lot of the running game. Travion Henderson, though, you feel comfortable with? RB3 on the roster, Mike?
Yeah, I think things could definitely start slower, but the fact that he is a receiving specialist helps the fantasy situation of your life. If he doesn't get 10+ carries, it's not a disaster because he could get 4 receptions.
I do think Henderson is someone that could get off to a slow start, so he'll be good in the receiving game. But how many carries do you think he gets? Genuinely, 7?
7.
Yeah, and that's scary to me for a player that, like, I would rather play Tony Pollard, who you drafted later in week 1 without Tajay.
Yeah, I understand.
Ashton Jeanty, first time we get to see Ashton Jeanty on an NFL field. Expectations for this one?
A lot of volume.
Yeah, the matchup isn't too scary. The Patriots' defense is improved from last year, but they were terrible last year, so they could still be improved and bad. Ginty, the issue here is just do the Raiders score enough? This is what we were saying when you were taking them at the end of the first round. Do they score enough most weeks, any week? It was only 43.5 point over-under to where you're happy with touchdown opportunities.
Other receiving options for the Raiders, Jacoby Myers has been unhappy. Seemed like
Did
they were.
Did you see his quote?
Yes, that was so good.
I did not.
He
What did
was
he say?
asked like, "What how did it go? You're back to the team." He's like, "Yeah, I asked for the trade, and they said no."
That's just right. He was
Yeah.
just like defeated.
Yeah, it's just like, so I'm here.
He was just doing a last second money grab.
I actually think he could be a trade candidate mid-season.
He could.
If they like what they see from Amari Cooper, from
They won't.
Dante Thornton Jr., who I'm really excited about,
They could.
and then Jack Besh could get worked in, and they might be done with Jacoby Myers at some point.
Jacoby is playable though. He's a wide receiver 3 type.
All right. Play Brock Bowers, please.
Yeah.
Cardinals are going to take on the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Cardinals 6.5 point road favorites. The over-under's just 43, giving Arizona 25 points. The Saints just 18.5. Dome game. Very rare to have a spread of 6.5 for a road team. It is the largest week 1 spread for Arizona since 1994.
They are not expected to be a juggernaut. This is not an Arizona Cardinals spread. This is a Saints spread. This is like start your Cardinals DST, start your running backs against the Saints every week. I don't see how the Saints can really be very competitive this season.
Yeah, I always get scared saying stuff like that out loud because it's the way it looks right now. But you also, if you want a different direction, then you talk about Kellen Moore, the way a team plays for their head coach for the very first time, first start at home, at the Superdome with the crowd, a lot of momentum, a lot of noise,
Pace of play.
Yeah, I think there are some ways that this game is more competitive than we'd expect because the NFL it bends on a play or two, but at least on paper it looks like Arizona is going to be in the in a good position here. Kyler, then the Saints defense was pretty bad last year. You'd mentioned how much they struggled against the run, so James Conner, of course. But, Kyler's greatest purpose this year, in my mind, in fantasy is providing for Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride.
Yep.
And so we'd love to see Marvin Harrison get off to a really strong start, more layup type of targets, not everything downfield. But we know Trey McBride is going to get his what is his reception lines at 6.5.
Whoa!
So those are the players of note for Arizona.
Yeah, it's not much to question on the Arizona side. You're going to be watching to see the split between James Conner and Trey Benson. There's been some reports that it's going to be more of a 1AB type of situation. It wasn't last year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still not this year, but you'll keep your eyes open for that.
Mike talked about the pace of play for Kellen Moore offenses. First, second, fourth, eighth. That is their neutral pace of play.
It's a lot of extra snaps.
So whether Spencer Rattler can handle it.
Yeah, that is the question. It's like you can do that when you've got Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott and, veteran quarterbacks.
Justin Herbert.
Can you play that fast with Spencer Rattler? I don't know. Do you want to? Do you want more snaps?
I can see Al. He's close. Yeah, there it is. Alvin Kamara, are we just is this the put the blindfold on and just play him every week?
Absolutely.
Close your eyes, plug your nose.
Chris Olave, is it a similar situation where you're just like
I think it is. I think Chris Olave is just such a
that was Mike making a sound, Al.
Oh.
I think
Everybody
everyone
in
in
this
this
room
whole
went
studio
wrong.
Would you thought something was
there was
wrong
a
with
sound
the,
effect that played, but
Yep.
it wasn't. It was your mouth.
You were just like making a groan in a place that is reserved for fantasy football.
I mean, like where I have Olave, there's just so many players.
I'd play Ridley over Olave.
Yeah, I would play.
I'd play Adunze. Would you play Travis Hunter over him? Probably.
I would.
It'd be more fun. I wouldn't have to watch the Saints.
You don't have to watch.
The biggest problem is that I genuinely look at Olave and Rashid Shaheed identically in terms of whether you could start one or the other.
Wow.
I don't see any differential.
Like I have Olave down in my tier with like Downs, Jennings, Cedric Tillman, Romeo Dobbs. I mean, those I don't think it's crazy to play those guys over Olave.
Last year, Olave was 7.6 points per game in games played. Shaheed was at 11. The year before, he was at 11.7. Obviously, he's better than he was last year. The concussions, the smaller snap games, maybe it's a little bit higher in reality, but it's close. And Shaheed at least offers you the 75-yard touchdown. Yeah, I mean, and Brandon Cooks, I haven't heard if you told me he didn't ever show up to training camp, I'd be like, I believe that, because I haven't heard a thing about him. I don't think he's going to be relevant at all.
And the Cardinals' defense is one to watch. That was the entire emphasis of the offseason. Acquire guys, like Josh Sweat. Give him that big contract. Draft a bunch of defensive pieces. That
Will Johnson in the second round, cornerback.
Yes. So I mean, we'll see if it works, but this was the emphasis of the team.
Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers going to play the New York Jets.
Yeah, this one's fun.
With a sweet over-under of 38.5.
Oh, it's less fun.
Pittsburgh 3-point favorites. This is the lowest.
38.5?
Blarf.
Lowest week one over-under in the last 5 years. Lowest
Wow.
week one over-under in the last 5 years. I do not.
Which side you taking?
Of the two teams?
No,
I'm
the
taking
over-under.
The Pepto.
Oh, I'll take the under, and I'll take Pittsburgh to win it. And I'm not sure the Jets can do anything on offense in this game. I mean, the way Justin Fields has looked in preseason, combined
Elijah
with
Vera
their
Tucker just went down.
yeah, they are their offensive guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like unexpected. That's one of those things where it's not like
the year?
A lot of out for the year. And a lot of times people lose offensive linemen, and that sucks. This offseason, you lose an offensive lineman. This is not this offseason. This is like this week, right before the season starts.
Yeah.
They don't have a contingency plan, signing, trade for, draft pick type of guy to come in and replace the guy they lost.
Yeah, it's just a mess. Like the Arian Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of you out there are like, what? Who? Yeah, there's reports that Arian Smith will be heavily counted on this year for the Jets. He's a wide receiver they drafted in the 4th round. Because outside of Garrett Wilson, it's Josh Reynolds and the boys.
Whoa. I heard Lazard's healthy.
So outside of Garrett Wilson, it's Josh Reynolds and the boys.
Which is why we do like Mason Taylor, rookie tight end.
Meow.
Meowson Taylor. Thank you, Mike. He does not have the dog in him, according to you. So he's one you're not going to play this week, but you'll keep an eye on, see if he is targeted more than we expect, because they do need someone else to throw the ball to.
Are you Jason Moore?
Yes,
Starting.
I am.
That
was too long a pause.
No, this one needs the emphasis.
All right.
Are you starting Caleb Johnson in week 1?
So I mean, it really depends.
38.5 point over under.
It really depends on your league. Like, there's one league where I am. No. I would not want to start Caleb Johnson. This is what I was saying earlier. There are players like a Keenan Allen I would start over him, but it's really not a matter of
Kareem
do
Hunt.
I start him? No, I would start Caleb Johnson over Kareem Hunt for sure. It's just who is your other option. I think most people, where you got Caleb Johnson in a draft, you can start other players.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, that's a really good name. That's a coin flip. I think I would probably go Ramondre. I think he'll have more volume than Caleb. No, I'm going to go Caleb at that point.
Okay. Nick Chubb against the Rams.
Man, that's tough. That's really tough because you don't even know.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah, goodness. I'm.
There's
no
nothing.
further.
I
No
love
further.
this
No
too
further
much.
questions.
It is not. No. Let's be clear. It is not a betrayal of Caleb Johnson to give him the time necessary to become something. Like, to start a player that you know is going to get guaranteed work in week 1 is intelligent. It's not foolish. And I'm not.
No.
I'm backing
right.
you up.
This
I'm
is
saying
what,
Caleb can be great, and you can sit him for a couple weeks.
I think
Those
Caleb
are
Johnson.
things-
Well, let's just talk specifics here. How many carries do you think Caleb Johnson gets in this game?
5.
I would say 8, but that's like on the high
I was
side.
going to say 6.
Yeah, so 5 to 8 carries. That's not what you want for fantasy football at all.
And a player who does not profile to catch any passes, you can't just take 5 to 8 carries.
Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit with Travion Henderson, where I'm a little bit more nervous to start him. I'm not as nervous as Caleb Johnson, but that doesn't mean they're bad players. It just means you got to give them time.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a low over under. All the circumstantial stuff around the game is a negative. So,
are you willing to put Jaylen Warren in with
Yes.
all of the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren should be starter. Like he's an RB2 to me.
Okay.
DK Metcalf, we get to see the dominant target share. Hopefully,
What an incredible player.
Mike has really just something happened over the last week where he just really
Yeah, I drafted him, so now he's awesome.
yeah.
I will say
It's not the best matchup situation.
that's
for him.
yeah. Sauce Gardner.
What? How? Come on, guys. We're talking about DK Metcalf,
I love DK Metcalf this season, and
mega millionaire DK Metcalf.
I do expect him to still get targets,
Unstoppable.
but he is going up. I mean, this is a defense that the Jets don't have a bad defense, and you've got Sauce Gardner as a lockdown cornerback, and there's no one else to guard on this offense other than DK Metcalf. You're not worried about Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin, and so if I'm planning for this team, I'm just shutting down DK Metcalf, which lowers him to a flex option to me.
Anybody else to talk about in this game? Jonnu Smith had been missing practices, so we didn't get a lot of, reports of Jonnu Smith formations. But I do think in week 1 we may walk away from this game going, son of a gun, there's Jonnu
With
again.
Jonnu?
There's Jonnu again.
Maybe.
Because there's a lot of weird stuff they're going to do in this offense that features Jonnu Smith.
And similar to the Jets, they don't have other places to throw the balls.
Yeah.
I pluralized it. Yeah.
Pause. New
I
York.
thought I caught an S on there, but I wasn't quite sure.
There. Yeah.
Is that what the Steelers' new plan is?
Multiple?
Multi-ball?
Multi.
I don't think they're using one single ball for an entire game, Mike.
Oh,
I stand by what I said.
Yeah, he does. That's it. He's right.
Yeah.
You were technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
One more. New York Giants, Washington Commanders, Vegas line, Washington -6. The over-under is 45.5. Okay, here we go. A battle in the NFC East. Washington won both games last year, although they were both very close, 21-18, 27-22. They were, if I remember correctly, tougher games for Jaden Daniels with that defensive front. And the defensive line, I'm in love with it for the Giants.
Yeah.
First time we're going to see Deebo Samuel in a Commanders uniform. We've got the running back situation that has been
Jaden. They played in week 2.
Okay.
And he was coming off of the the opener where he was QB3, so he was QB19.
Okay.
In
yeah.
week 2.
What's the other one? Let's see if
that
my
would have
memory's
been
good.
Week 9, he scored just under 20 fantasy points, so he was a QB1 that week.
But under 20.
19.9.
And how many points in the first one?
13.4.
13 and 19. I mean, they're fine, but they're not two of his good games last year. So
it would have been. I think that's looking at it real quick. That's his worst game where he played all the snaps.
This was a Giants defense that was number 9 against quarterbacks last year. They gave up 15.8 on average, and Jaden didn't really surpass that. 9th against wideouts, 2nd against tight ends. Their one defensive problem was the running game, which might be broken up across 3 different players in Washington. It doesn't mean you don't play Eckler. I think that's okay, but you could end up a little disappointed, I think.
And just to follow up on that, because we reported the unauthorized depth chart that they released where Bill was dead last. There was a report yesterday of for watching how they are ordering in terms of running all of the practice. It was Eckler and then Bill.
Bill Krosky. He can touch MC Hammer.
Okay.
Unbelievable. That one been in the chamber for a few days.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Have some ammunition loaded.
6-point favorites though at home. Washington high over under. I'm not saying anything like you can play Jaden Daniels, of course. Home opener. Deebo, do you think it's a strong start for Deebo considering the fact that they're going to hand him the football, they're going to get him the screen game?
I don't think it's going to be a great start.
Over under 10 fantasy points. If you had to set it up right now.
Half PPR, I'll take the under.
Mike, what about you?
I'm
I feel okay with him this week.
I'm far more bearish on Debo bouncing back than you guys are.
So under the 10 points this week? Okay. What else do you have to say about the Washington side?
The Washington side?
Terry McLaurin just back out there?
Yeah, I mean, Terry McLaurin, you know, he'll have to be started. I'm going to start Austin Eckler in this. You know, you look at defenses of really bad teams, right? And the Giants were a terrible team last year. They project to be a losing team this season, although their defense is very good. And when you look at good defenses on bad teams, a lot of times what you see is what you saw last year and what we expect this year, which is the running backs still have great success against them. You can't pass on them that much. And it's not just because of their defensive personnel, but it's because you're in the lead. You took a lead. That other team can't do much, so you just keep running the ball. More opportunities for the running game, fewer opportunities for the passing game, fewer opportunities for the quarterback, and that's kind of what I expect on the Washington side of the ball. Unless Russell Wilson can surprise and can come out looking, you know, a hot start this year, the way that he started well when he got the opportunity last year. That would be the only way that I think we get more that we like out of this game is if Russell Wilson comes out, looks good, maybe Theo Johnson is kind of a week one breakout player. He's the second-year tight end from the Giants that I really will have my eyes on. I mean, otherwise I don't expect it to go well.
Malik Neighbors, reminder, he was trailing or tied in 90% of all routes last year, and it might start that way again this year. I imagine Washington's going to win the football game, but I am excited to see what the Giants have in store on the offensive side with a different quarterback and whether Malik Neighbors can get it done. So, Mike, other expectations from Tracy or Scattaboo or the running game in New York?
I don't know the full expectations, but that's just, you know, one of the week one things that we will have the eye on of does Scattaboo immediately break into it or is Tracy going to be a workhorse for at least a few weeks?
All right, well, we'll cut it off there. We'll get into more matchups tomorrow. That was Fantasy Forecast presented by Prize Picks, the largest daily fantasy sports platform. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code Footballers and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. So tomorrow we'll have more matchups, and we will also have the Fantasy Face-Off again tomorrow. And then we'll get into the weekend. You'll get week one, football, finally. Ooh. And some wins and some losses and some surprises and some crazy waiver wire, and we'll hit studs and duds and waivers early parts of next week. It's also a good time to remind people, if you were a Ultimate Draft Kit buyer, if you used Ultimate Draft Kit, there's a lot of you out there, the UDK or the UDK Plus, that season is over, right? The draft season from February to now is over. What we are doing as a courtesy to anybody that bought the UDK or the UDK Plus, if you want the in-season tools and resources that we have available, the premium tools and resources, including the lineup optimizer and the waiver wire tool,
forthcoming trade tools, rest of season rankings, stuff that we haven't even had before that we're going to have this season, that's all in the Ultimate. It'll be in the Ultimate dashboard, which is part of being an Ultimate Foot Clan member. And look, you know, to tell you the truth, if you upgrade now, it basically comes with the UDK for next year.
Yeah, because you can take your UDK, the amount that you paid for it, and basically just apply it towards an Ultimate membership, which is a year-round membership that includes the UDK for next year, DFS Pass, all of that
Everything
stuff.
we ever make, including the extra episode every week.
That cutoff is normally today. It's on kickoff. We're going to extend it a couple of days, and that'll be it. And then that credit will not exist anymore. So you can go to jointhefoot.com, make sure you're logged in with your UDK account, and just click on the Ultimate package, and you will get a $1 for $1 credit. So,
a couple of pieces of news, which I'm sure we'll report it again tomorrow, just because it's so late. But Christian Kirk, Houston Texans, not practicing again today, so that like Jalen Noel is someone to keep an eye on, and the Walrus again not seen practicing.
He's ramping up, Mike.
Yeah, any day now.
Oh my gosh.
He's got one of those 11 targets.
Maybe he's got one of those Kawhi Leonard no-show jobs. Maybe he doesn't actually. Maybe he's a tight end for the Dolphins, nice. But he doesn't actually play. Maybe. Thank you for joining us. It's football time, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow. Enjoy the game tonight.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.